I don't know how to say
this. It's so much because we touched on everything. Shootings. We touched on sacrifice. We touched on life is short. We touched on not judging a book by its cover. Man,
mate, we travelled the world without travelling. You know what I'm saying? COVID-19, we go nowhere, mate.
We travelled the world without travelling. Yeah, that's the episode. That's the title. That's the title.
Straight up, brother.
Welcome to the Unleashed Potential Podcast, the #1 Australian podcast brought to you by your hosts, Omar Hassan, Omer Elmi, Abdullahi Haji, and myself, Abduljabar Jama. We discuss both meaningful and everyday topics, so sit back, relax, and enjoy our conversation as we share our experiences.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. This is episode number 57. Yeah. Inshallah, we keep it consistent, man.
Inshallah.
How you boys been? It's been a week now. I haven't seen you guys as well.
It's been all right. Regular week.
Especially you. I see Elmi actually a few times during the week.
I'm everywhere, mate.
Yeah.
You see me everywhere.
I got another roster change. So I had another roster change, so it's been a bit busy this week.
Yeah, it's tough on you, man.
But I've seen you yesterday, though. Saturday.
Yeah, that's right.
I did, yeah.
Briefly.
Once a week is not enough now.
That's not.
I see you once a week, it's not enough.
And previously I used to have access, or actually the time to sit down and actually go through, social media and just catch up, because you guys usually post up, so I'd just be like, oh yeah, that's what they're up to. Go-karting, oh yeah, they're out in the golfing range, or something.
Yeah,
but now, subhanAllah, I don't even have the time for that. So it's kind of good in a sense because I don't go on social media as much now. But bad in the other sense, I don't get to see what you boys are up to. So
well, it's nothing much. It's paintballing next week anyway.
Yeah.
So you gotta come down.
Nah, man, I'm not a fan of paintballing anymore, man.
Why not?
I don't know, man. Like I feel like once you've done it once or twice, you're kind of good for another couple of years, man.
Oh man.
Nah, it's
I know what to wear this time.
Seriously, because like you wear overalls and you're running around, so you're heating up already, and then on top of that, you run out of bullets so quickly that it's not even funny, and your mask fogs up on a regular basis, and I don't know, like depending on how many people are there, sometimes you'll get swapped in and out, so you're not constantly playing. Me, if I enjoy something, I just want to keep doing it. I don't want to stop.
That's what we realized the first couple of times we went. Now we get plenty of paintball. We're like a huge bucket, pretty much like a crate full of paintballs.
Yeah, but then you go extra crazy because of that. So you start just firing randomly,
It's got to the point where it's rather time than the amount of bullets you have. Do you have enough time to use all your bullets? Not, do you have enough bullets? And you go in big enough groups, so we always call them up and we ask them like, how big are the groups, the biggest groups you can take. That way you're always versing your friends, you're not versing random people. You're always constantly on, and you're going from one next to the next.
That's when it becomes very dangerous, bro. When you're versing your friends.
Oh yeah, it does.
Because no one follows the rules.
No one follows. Nah.
Last time I played a couple years ago, mate, I went home with a lot of bruises, man.
Yeah, friendly is never friendly, man.
Paintball, people think it's like laser tag, bro. It actually hurts. Like those little balls, they go flying. Yeah. Like they're very fast. Yeah. Imagine getting shoot point blank range, man.
It happened a few times.
How many times I went home, like I got a bruised here, bruising back my neck, bruising my leg, bruises everywhere.
It's like when we went go-karting, the guys around that help you on the track when you go off it, whatever it is, about first lap, third turn, he gave up. You can just see him put his hands in the air. He's like, I'm done with these guys, man, because we're just bumping each other off the road.
Now, you know how you avoid the bruising? Yeah. Or you wear baggy clothes.
Bigger overalls.
Last time I was wearing
baggy clothes. That way you won't even feel the hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we love to go when it's overcast. So the sun's not in your face. Yeah. It's not raining, but it has rained, so it's still a little bit slippery, a little bit muddy. Just makes the whole experience a lot more fun.
Oh, so it's outdoor as well?
Oh yeah, it's outdoor.
Have you been to one that's indoor?
Yeah, the indoor one's not as fun.
Yeah, depending on how big the complex is.
It's a lot more technical though.
It is, because you've only got like broken down cars or steps and stuff you can hide behind, and it turns into like a sniper shootout rather than.
But the problem is you're always up against a different group. It's not always everyone together. The big groups outdoors, you're in a big field, you're all together. The small ones, because it's a lot quicker games, you end up versing random people, and some of them have been playing for years.
Bro, you see,
but they follow the rules. So they follow the rules.
Yeah,
he doesn't know. But
I have confidence versing those people. But my mates,
no,
you hit them,
and they come back running.
To get out, bro. They come after you. You hit me. and trying to get you with more bullets. Come on, bro.
Same thing happened reversing these guys. Man, they were probably they felt like a SWAT team, like a trained SWAT team.
Yeah.
And one of the guys just got angry after he got shot because we were getting destroyed, and shot back at the guy like 3-4 times, even after he got hit, and he got rained down on so badly. Everyone was following the rules after that.
I just had a memory. I used to work with a guy that used to play it professionally, and they used to get paid to play it professionally. A huge field, right? And they'll have maybe like inflatable things to hide behind, or they'll go out into the forest, and now it's only just organic stuff like trees and stuff just to hide behind. But they'll play it professionally, and they come with their full own, like, it's not rented gear. They've got their own gear. You can just tell just from the mask they wear, from the gloves that they've got. Even sometimes the gun that they use,
it's different.
It's completely different. And you're wondering, like, bro, how many times a week do you come here?
Yeah.
Some of them just go there for practice.
Yeah.
Because it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
Anyways, man.
That's what you're missing out next weekend.
Yeah, man. So, as always, we kickstart this episode with a What's on Your Radar segment. And by now, inshallah, the audience already knows what the segment is about. It's basically just to get an insight into what's been piquing your interest, because we see the world differently. There's so much information going around lately, and with the with technology and social media and stuff, there's just so much to keep track of. So some things I might not be aware of. Some things you guys are aware of. So we created this segment just to be able to see the world through your eyes, So if I was to start, Elmi, what's on your radar lately?
A lot of things, man. Like lately what's been on my radar is what's that guy from the Wakanda movie?
Oh, Chadwick Boseman.
What else has been on my radar? What's going on in Melbourne as well? Like, people are protesting because they extended the lockdown 12 months. A lot of things are going on, man. A lot of
Wait, they extended the lockdown 12 months?
Yeah, that's what one of my mates was telling me.
I think they extended the state of emergency to another 12 months, which allows them to enforce more lockdowns. I think that's what it is. And they're going out,
and I saw on Snapchat videos and people protesting. I was like, man, that's crazy, Like, obviously it's not easy, man, being locked down from, I think they're only allowed to go out from 8 to 6 or something like that.
Yeah, they've got
and you can't go it's like a 5 or 4 kilometer radius from the area. You have to wear masks. Yeah, it's tough, bro. Like, wallahi, to be honest, I got family in Melbourne as well, man. I feel for them, bro, what they're going through. For us, we got freedom, bro. I can go many times, leave, we don't have to wear masks. 1.5, there's no 1.5 here, but it looks like 1.5 from the camera, but you get what I'm saying. But the thing is, for the people there, they're protesting and all that. But man, straight up, they should stay home, bro. Because coronavirus is deadly.
That's the only way to slow it down, right?
Yeah. Because I look at the stats every day. Not every day, every now and then. It's over 100 people every day. The population is 5-6 million. It's nothing. It's 0.1%, But the thing is, bro, it's very dangerous, man. Because especially little kids, elderlies. Yeah, man. If I was in that situation, I don't know what I'll do, to be honest.
You've just probably said, go in lockdown, man.
Yeah, you can't do anything. It's just keep yourself safe, and follow the rules according to the health practitioners and stuff. Because, if they tell you that the easiest way to slow it down, it's not a cure, right? But you slow it down by simply staying at home, whether you're self-isolating or you're keeping yourself at home to, not get exposed to someone who's been in contact or has been tested positive. But man, and even then, doing it, you don't do it just for yourself.
Yeah,
you do it to to have a positive effect on the community as well.
I think
less cases means everybody wins in a way.
Yeah. I think that's why people are frustrated, because you can imagine some people are following the rules, have been following the rules, and imagine you're just following the rules, doing everything right, and then you watch the news after 6 weeks, and they go, there's another 6-week lockdown. You get frustrated because there's a bunch of people out there that are not doing it. That's kind of holding you back. So when you have that plus all the economic strains and stuff like that, you can see that, you can understand the frustration. I won't say it's correct. I won't say that's the right thing to do, but it's understandable. It's not like, why are they doing it, you know?
Yeah, no, look, if you have been following the rules and you see other people not following the rules and they're not getting caught out and they're kind of living their life in a way, and after 6 weeks, there's another 6 week lockdown simply because of those people. Yes, you can understand their frustration, but it does not mean that it's correct for these people to go ahead and break the rules again, even though another 6 weeks has been imposed on them. It's unfortunate and it is frustrating, but that's the reality, unfortunately. And it's up to the authorities to make sure that, you know, these things are enforced.
Yeah, because I have a mate that's trying to get here into Perth from Sydney and wasn't able to get in. The application got denied, couldn't come in. And then you hear of stories of someone that got accepted, didn't want to do the 2-week quarantine, and then was like hiding in the back of a truck, like crossing the border and stuff like that. And then you just like, that's just frustrating.
Bro, like, even recently I was trying to go to Sydney to go visit family there and stuff. And then they got this what's called G2G pass. Like, they're pretty strict now. I'm a resident. I work here. I won't even be able to get back in the state. So I was like, I'll think twice about that before I left, man. Yeah, because it's very strict now. Like, if you went, like, obviously Melbourne, Brisbane, like Adelaide or New South Wales, and you try to come back, even you're a resident, you work here, it's very hard to get back.
Yeah, it is. Like, it's difficult.
Straight up, man. Yeah.
That's why whenever they have like, the border's closing tomorrow at 12 midnight or whatever, man, there's just a long ass queue waiting to get in, you know, because they know that it's going to be difficult after the border closes. Yeah. What has been on my radar, it's something similar to what you're saying, but it's not in Victoria. It's actually here in Perth. Luckily for us, alhamdulillah, we've been enjoying the benefits of, you know, having very minimal COVID cases, and all the ones are already the authorities are aware of, and they're in quarantine and isolation. But a couple of nights ago, I was actually in Northbridge. Come to think of it, I was in Northbridge, and I saw like a bunch of cops outside, and I was like, what's going on here? What happened, you know? And I just thought, because it was like a casual, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, a lot of people go out, right? Especially after 6 or after 7. A lot of people go out, so I just assumed, must be an event or something, and the cops got called, or maybe a fight or something. I didn't think anything of it.
Northbridge, most of the time it's a fight.
But maximum you'll see would be about like 2 cops at one spot. This one had like a fleet of them, like cops parked up on both sides. Anyways, fast forward 2-3 days later, I see because I get notifications of the news and stuff. So I see on the news that this nurse that was actually at one of the places was commenting on the whole situation, and the news itself basically said that there was this one man who, I think he was around 50 years old or something like this. So he should have definitely known better. He's not some young kid. It's a full-grown adult, right, in his 50s, and he's coming from Queensland all the way to Perth, and he was showing symptoms of some symptoms that are non-COVID related. So they let him in, I think, and they let him in with the condition that he has to isolate. And I think he had to check into an actual facility. When he checked into that facility, they said, okay, we're going to assign you, I think it was an ambulance or something, to get you to the self-isolation place, or to his house to self-isolate. And while the actual transportation, while he was waiting for transportation, he decided to just leave. And so he disappeared, and he went all the way to Northbridge, and he decided to go and have a drink at one of these bars or restaurants. So he's sitting there with a room full of people, and he could potentially be COVID positive. So the cops track him down, and I don't know how they tracked him down, but they tracked him down, and they located him, and that's where the whole fleet of cops were at Northbridge, because that's where the guy was. So they shut the whole place down, and they basically made everyone put down their details, name, address, license, took down contact tracing. They took all their details and basically told each and every one, you need to go get tested, and you need to go home straight away and self-isolate for 2 weeks. The nurse that was there at the place said basically, look, I felt like I was the only one that was going away and to actually self-isolate, because she's a nurse and she treats this stuff serious, but everybody else she could see was pretty much just going their own separate way to carry on the night, because Yeah, they were just careless in that sense. And it turns out later on that he was COVID negative, right? But that's not the point. It's the fact that he potentially put a whole bunch of people at risk and the whole state, because there could have been an outbreak. Just that one hotel could not have been
in Northbridge, contained. In such a condensed area.
Exactly. And the fact that these people went on potentially to go and carry on their night, man. So like, we're lucky, alhamdulillah, but at the same time, even us, the fight is not over yet.
No.
It just takes one person. Yeah.
My question is, should that count, or do you, in your mind, as like manslaughter? Because, for example, if I'm driving on the road doing 4 or 5 times the speed limit, mate, you know as you're driving at that speed limit that you could potentially kill someone. So if you do get into an accident, even though you did not mean to, you can get charged for manslaughter, endangering someone else's life. Now you got a guy that's potentially COVID, just again not intentionally doing it, goes out into a public space knowing it's a contagious disease, knowing that it could potentially kill people. Does then that count as manslaughter? Because it's not murder, because he's not going out there with the intention to kill.
I think he got charged with a breach of his I think it was his breach of isolation, and that's, in a sense, I think it takes into account the potential that he could cause a mass shutdown of the state. All of these things, they take these things into consideration. I think they've adopted a new law. I don't think it falls under manslaughter. But that's I understand where you're coming from, because in a way, like, you're putting people's lives at risk.
Because you got to understand, laws are made when circumstances. There was no internet laws 50 years ago because there was no internet. Things change, you know what I mean? And so even now, like even before when the whole COVID stuff came through, they were changing certain laws for police to prevent people from walking around without masks and social distancing, because you can't tell someone, hey, you can't stand next to someone. Like, that's your right as a human. So like finding out proper laws and not pushing the boundaries too far, and, you know, not being too strict, but obviously being there. So that's the reason why I'm asking the question, like, where do you really think this lies on? Because at this point in time, COVID's been around for months. It's been almost half a year. You know what I mean? So you should know. You know what I mean? I can't go, like I said, I can speed, I can not have my seatbelt on, I can do all these sort of stuff. And regardless if I believe it's true or not, the cops are going to go, that's the law, that's the scientific evidence.
Absolutely.
So regardless if you go, I don't believe COVID's a thing, it doesn't matter, you still got to have to follow the rules. So then what should be the consequences for these people that are putting everyone's lives in danger?
I don't know, but that's definitely a good question. I'd like to know what was the outcome of this person, whether he got arrested. I mean, I understand he got arrested, and potentially getting charged as well. I just don't know what would be the outcome of that court case.
But you guys 50 years old, man.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not 18, like 25. You're not young, man. 50 years old. That's a grown man.
I know.
Still, like, but look, everyone's human being, man. They make mistakes at any age, but bro, like, that's very dangerous.
That was a choice, not a mistake.
But anyways, that's what was on my radar. What was on yours?
Mine was literally a combination of what, like Elmi said, which was the Kenosha shooting in America, and then the Chadwick Boseman one, because as you said, we haven't seen each other this week. I've been like really busy, so I haven't been on social media as well, but obviously the big news stories kind of pop up. So the first one was watching a guy get shot in the back while he's walking to his car in front of his families and friends, right? And so since I didn't have a lot of time to delve into details of what's going on, I generally got the idea what was going on and just the reactions that was coming through, and it was pretty much two-sided. And one people saying, oh, he should follow the laws, he deserves it, or whatever it is, arguing that point, and then there's other point that's arguing against it, you know. And then Chadwick Boseman passes away recently, and then there's very, very little negativity. And I'm thinking, like, he was the Black Panther, the guy fighting for human rights and stuff like that.
But it's different. It's different when you compare the two, because one is dying at the hands of an illness, whereas somebody else is dying in the hands of, you know, somebody who's supposed to protect and serve. That's the issue. Police brutality is different to somebody dying from an illness. Right. But what I would compare the shooting of Kenosha is when they protested, there was a white young man, I think, and he had an assault rifle. Not only did he just have the rifle, right? So the black person wasn't armed, okay? And his back was towards the officers. Yeah. This white man, okay,
came from a different state, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Came down, he had an assault rifle, and he was walking towards the cops after just having shot 2 people who actually died.
Yeah, and everyone's yelling he shot people.
Exactly, but they approached him in a way.
What?
Yeah, they didn't come through guns blazing. So it shows, you know, that there's people that would always basically argue against the whole police brutality and say, you know what, this guy, if only he followed the law. No, but that's not the case. Even if he did not follow the law and he was guilty, even if he had a gun, you're still not meant to shoot this person until he is a threat. And a threat to your life.
That goes back to what was on my radar last week, was Masai Ujiri, the president. And you saw the footage that came out, which he did follow all the steps, you know what I mean? He didn't fight. And even though the camera footage showed that he wasn't being the aggressor, he still got sued. He still got all this stuff coming at him. So when you're saying follow the laws, well, it's not really going to work out. But the reason why I compare them to is, you take the situation where you just talked about, where a black man had his back turned and got shot, while a white man walks past the police with the AR.
And not only shot in front of his kids.
Right. So that whole situation, and when you just look at the general reaction, obviously it's online and you're not getting a full spectrum of it. You will see a general divide between two people.
Yeah.
But then you look at Chadwick Boseman, who's a black actor who's been fighting for these causes as well, and he passes away, and everyone's just like,
they care for black lives now,
you know, oh yeah, we care for him. And I was like, well, he's a black man, he's going through the same plight, he has family that's going through this is his fight as well. So how can you just be like, are you just taking all the good from him because he supplies you entertainment and you don't really care about his life, what he goes
I see
through?
What you mean. I see.
You know what I mean?
The loss of a life is still the same.
It's still a black man that passed away. The
cause of the loss of the life, you're saying like you shouldn't be divided on the fact that on the cause of the loss of that life, right? You should be united in the fact that somebody passed away. Is that what you're saying? So like, you might be basically like divided on the issue that of police brutality, but regardless of that, somebody passed away. So you should be united in.
It's the whole hypocrisy of it all. When you have a black man that dies away by cancer, and even though he has his whole activism behind him, and you know, like, he's fighting for his people will praise him and look at his life and all his achievements and what he went through, or his movie roles and what he did, and they'll praise that. But then you see the person that he's fighting for and everything, and where, you know, obviously a lot of these black actors and athletes and stuff like that, they don't really come from the most, you know, beneficial backgrounds and from, you know what I mean. I
don't know. Chadwick was pretty in the community, but I understand.
He's not in the community, he will have family members or friends that are in that community. So it obviously affects him, right? So, and he's fighting for those people. So the people that he's fighting for and everything like that will get shot in the back by the people that's supposed to protect them, and people are divided on that factor. People are saying it's not racist when literally you have like what you saw about the protest and the white person, but when someone passes away by cancer, you're literally glorifying all the stuff that he stands for, which was thrown in the face in the other scenario, but there's no arguments or fighting happening on this side.
You know, funny thing is, now I was watching a few videos online when the Chadwick guy passed away, and there was a lot of people trolling him, man, on the internet before he passed away. He's losing skinny. And I saw some videos of people saying, look, I was trolling him before, and like now I feel sorry, and like, you know, saying condolences to him and his family. Bro, this world was weird,
so man. You got people who are trolling someone based on just their image, and then because that person passed away because of cancer, they become empathetic to him, right? Then you have someone that gets shot in the back in front of his kids, and then the first thing you go is, oh well, he should have followed the rules. You don't become empathetic for that.
Now, bro, we live in a world where, like, obviously now with the technology, everyone has an opinion to every story. Like, it's, and then you see two sides of the story. Like, bro, but honestly, I believe there's a lot of keyboard warriors. You know what I mean?
Of course,
They say online, for the black brother that passed away, he was in the wrong, he should have stopped this, that. But when you see them face to face, they'll be like, you understand what I'm saying?
But here's where I'll throw that counterattack to you. There's keyboard warriors in real life. For example, you could have a boss that's exactly like that won't come to your face and tell you, oh, you're black this, you're this and that, but he will reject you for the application. He will reject you for getting into a certain position. You know what I mean?
Indirectly,
so you won't realize it because it's not directly in your face. It doesn't mean it doesn't have an effect. So these guys, when you see these people going off online, yes, you have a portion because they're going off because they can, and they won't ever do that in real life. Then you have people that are showing off what they truly are because they have that platform, you know.
Man, this episode is like, this is supposed to be the light-hearted portion of the episode, but
you asked.
Subhanallah, yeah, man, it's turned into a full-length episode. I'm thinking just continue it as is. I had a particular topic in mind, but I feel like there's so much to discuss of this. I think we should just continue this discussion. Like, for example, sorry, what were you gonna say?
Like, I watched the video, like, and if you look at, you know, like, it's very brutal what they did to the brother, but the way they shot him, like, the guy was like crawling, like he was barely moving, bro. There was 2-3 officers. You can put him down to the floor.
Yeah.
What are they trained for, bro?
Yeah.
Trained to just shoot?
Yeah.
What the hell, man? Like,
they're not trained well.
Like, there's 3 officers and there's one guy, and he had nothing on him.
But the issue
all they need to do is grab him and put him to the floor. That's it.
I know what you mean.
Arrest
But
him.
the training is terrible, because you'll see videos.
And did you see those cops, bro? Like, they're all massive, bro. Oompa Loompas, bro. Like, how's that guy supposed to protect and serve? Like, you know what I mean?
But
honestly, bro,
I've seen a video of a disabled person where, dude, my little sister could have restrained that person, right? But the cop, because it was such a heated situation, the cop was so flustered by it. He didn't know how to react. He pulled out his guns. The situation got bad. And when people go, oh, they're human, I was like, yeah, that's true. But if your doctor cut you open and he's doing a surgery and he pukes because there's blood and he can't handle it, you don't go, oh, well, he's human.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you're trained for. That's what your job is. That's what you applied for. If you're a police officer, you're supposed to know that I'm going into this dangerous situation. You don't see, well, it does happen, but military people don't shoot people point blank and post it everywhere and go, oh, well, I was supposed to do that. We're like, no, you're supposed to be trained. You have protocols. You have like these things you're supposed to do. And when you have harsher protocols when you're versing an enemy, outside your country, but you don't have that sort of control to your own citizens, then it's like, what's going on?
I think for me, like, if we were to discuss the Chadwick Boseman death, I think the biggest highlight of that issue for me was the fact that not everyone knew that he was going through cancer or even any illness, right? And the fact that he was able to keep it hidden for 4 years, and the fact that people commented on his appearance, like in the fact that he was losing weight or that he was showing signs that he was, I don't know, they thought maybe he was getting ready for a particular role. They were sort of like discussing discussing basically his looks, discussing his life without knowing the full story and knowing what's really going on. And the issue with that is you don't know what somebody is going through. You might have a little piece of information and feel like you've got the whole story on this person, but not everybody reveals everything, especially on social media, and especially to, like, his family may have known, right? 4 years is a long time, and he kept it hidden. And the flip side of that, right, is the fact that he was able to continue working to the level of such professionalism, even though he was going through an illness which most people would accept as a valid excuse to just, quit or to just give up. So the fact, on one hand, he didn't reveal that information, and people were judging him and didn't know the full story, and they were judging him because they thought they knew the full story. On the other hand, he never gave up. And at the same time, if he had revealed it, people would have basically pressured him to give up, or two, they would have only known him through the person as the person who's got that,
harassing him about questions about it.
Of course. And then every press conference or whatever, that's it. They'll just be discussing that, and he'll be known as the actor that has cancer and tried to fight it or whatever. He'll be known through that lens. So it's so much pressure and so much like going through your mind, and then on top of that, you're battling an illness that is incurable, and it's tough. You imagine the toll that it has on somebody's mind, and to be able to still put out content like Black Panther, like that's crazy, man.
But the thing I'll actually say that the people that are in sort of positions that are envious are actually going through more than you think. Because you look at someone that's having their life easy, and you'll go, oh, that person probably doesn't have a lot of problems. And you look at someone that's really wealthy or in a good position, and you go, oh, okay, that person probably doesn't have a lot of problems. But it might actually be flipped on the other side, because someone's accepting challenges and overcoming difficulties is the reason why they made it to that position in the first place. And this was like a long list of people. We had Charlie Murphy, who passed away, I think it was leukemia. You had Robin Williams, remember, he passed away, and people were like shocked, like, oh, he was depressed, he's a comedian, all this sort of stuff. Yeah, and just recently there was a female singer, I forgot her name, it was just on the radio the other day, and she hasn't put out an album in like a few years, and people were always like pressuring her and harassing her, put an album up, where's your new music, where's all this sort of stuff. And they didn't realize she put out a new song and it was like a big hit song. And then a little while after the song came out, she actually spoke about what the meaning of the song was and why she put it out and why it's been so long. And she actually lost her voice. The ability to speak completely. She lost it. She couldn't speak properly. And when she was speaking, you could barely understand her. So she had to go through speech therapy and relearn how to talk, let alone sing to the level that she was at, because she's like a really famous singer. And it's just like one of those things where it happens constantly. You'll see people in really high positions going through issues, going through problems. And I think it's that being in that position comes with those problems. You'll see actors, popping up in Me Too movements, and that was also a problem that they probably failed. They probably had that position of power, and then they probably had lust and all these kind of like emotions and by that position, and failed, and then ended up doing these bad things. And some of them have illnesses, some of them have sickness, someone gets injuries, some have family issues. Everyone's going through something, so we can't really just look at someone's appearance and the little that we know and go, oh, that person, and just give crap to them. Because with Chadwick Boseman, I mean, he's an actor. That's his job. Imagine I came to you while you're just working and just observed you when you're working only at your work time, and then based you completely just on that. Especially when your work is becoming an actor, which is becoming someone else. Being someone else. You know what I mean?
It's tough, man. But you're right, like, not to be envious of other people in other positions, simply because you don't know the challenges that might come with that role. You don't know the challenges that person is going through, or the sacrifices he's made or he or she has made to actually get to that particular position. You look at what's the recent one, man, Anthony Bourdain. You guys know him? He's basically a famous chef who goes around, travels the world, and he's on screen that does basically street food and whatnot. And recently, he was found dead in his hotel, committed suicide. But when you look at, and honestly, man, I used to watch Anthony Bourdain like crazy, especially during Ramadan. There's just something about it. Wallah, I'm serious, man.
It's calming, huh?
Yeah, it's very so calming, because like you're not just watching food. You're watching food made in the streets. You're watching like a bit of the culture.
Yeah.
So you're getting a lot of history lessons as well. So this guy tours one city and he goes through it properly, right, for that episode. And he's made like four or five seasons or something like that. And it's all on Netflix as well. But back then I used to watch it, when I was a bit younger, and now reminiscing, actually watching it, just, I don't know, like it puts a certain happiness to me. And then I always used to say, this person, man, he's got a really good job, man, mashallah, like he's got one of the best jobs. Imagine you're traveling the world, you're seeing everything, all the cultures, and you get to eat for free, and you get to eat some of the best foods, right? I'm like, bro, if I was non-Muslim and I didn't have restrictions in terms of, what kind of food I could eat, bro, I'd be that. But then you hear the passing of him and his suicide, and it must have meant that this guy was battling so much, and you don't know that maybe it comes with being isolated. The fact that you don't have a permanent place to call home. You can't maintain relationships because you're always moving around a lot, filming. So, being envious of people in certain positions seems like, it seems like you're setting yourself for a goal to try and achieve, not knowing the full story of what potentially may come from you trying to achieve it. There's certain sacrifices you have to make. There's certain effort you need to put in. And then on top of that, these people are human. So even then, you don't know whether you would be able to continue at that professional level. Like I said, if you wanted to be an actor, say you got hit by, subhanallah, may Allah forbid, but if you got hit with the similar illness like Chadwick Boseman, would you still continue to be an actor? Would you still continue at that professional level, or would you use it as an excuse to quit? And that's what separates, I think, the professionals from those who are basically average.
To be a professional, like you said, the key word is you gotta sacrifice a lot of time, a lot of discipline. There's a lot of sacrificing, and some people can sacrifice for a year, 2 years, 3 years, a decade, but eventually everyone has a breaking point. Eventually everyone has life changes. So when you see someone in that position, you gotta understand, like, they might look happy and everything, but they are sacrificing a lot, and if they can't sacrifice what they're capable of sacrificing, if they go over that, or if they can't manage that, then there's going to be bigger issues, because the pressure is higher, because they're in that position. They have a higher pressure, higher responsibility. So when it does fail, and when they can't pull up to that sacrifice, it's a bigger issue. You know what I mean? So that's what people got to kind of like understand when it comes to like being in that position.
And time is short, man.
Time
is real short, man.
Yeah, this world we live in is very weird, man. Like you said, people and like actors, people are doing really good in life, and then obviously then you got regular people like us. Like that's the thing, like envy is part of human nature. At the same time, it's the shaitan,
Yeah.
that gets into your head, like, why can't you have this, why can't you have that? But yeah, man, may Allah protect us from that enviness from other people that's doing better than us,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird world we live in, bro.
But I always say, like, what are you really envious about?
Yeah.
So if that person, when I really thought about it, what I'm envious is about not having that certain freedom that being in that position puts you. If you're someone that's wealthy, you have a certain freedom where you don't have to go to work every single day. You don't have to do all this sort of stuff. So the reason why I was envious of that was because you have more time to do what you want. You know what I mean? But some people will look at that and go, oh, they can buy whatever they want, so they become happy. Like, that's what they think is happy.
Yeah.
That's not really what you're envying. Sometimes you might think that that's the position I wanted, not because you really like that position. It's just because that position looks better than your current position. When it might not really be better. So for me, like, I thought about it when I was studying and going into uni. That was one of the biggest things that I was thinking about. It's like, okay, cool, I might enjoy thinking about this is going to be good, but if I was in that situation and had to do what that person had to do for that long, will I be happy? Because at the end of the day, I can, in 30 years, 40 years, I can be where I want to be. If that 40 years was terrible, terrible 40 years, is it worth it? And some people think it is, and then end up committing suicide halfway through, or having issues and problems.
Absolutely.
Like that, where it goes. My advice would be, go for it, because you never know what the destination is going to be like until you get there. But if you find that the destination, the going through that path, is altering the reason you're going there, not that it's hard. If it's hard, you got to go through it. It's always going to be hard. But if that path is becoming different from the reason why you're taking that path in the first place, you should stop and take a different path. Like I was speaking to one of our best mates, and he just quit his job, and for him, he had, like, obviously he's married, he's moving houses, he has financial issues, he has all this sort of stuff he has to worry about. And then while we were sitting down this week and we were looking through it, and a lot of the burdens on his marriage, his personal life, his hobbies, was because of work. So for him, he's thinking work is the reason why he needs to keep work, because if it doesn't, all of this will fall. And I'm like, no. The stress, the anxiety, everything you're dealing with from your job is what's causing it. Yeah. So the hardest thing for him was to walk away, which he did, and now he's really happy, and everything's going really well, and he's like, man, that was the best decision I ever made. And I was like, yeah, and it was logical at that time that it was going to probably be a really good decision, but it was a hard decision to make. And sometimes you got to make the hard decisions.
Everything in life you're going through is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like, that's the difference between us and like the non-believers. Like, we got the deen, bro, that we sit back on. You stressed, make wudu, pray to rak'ah sunnah, and like, if you realize everything that's going on in your life, like, you just turn to Allah, things become better, bro. You pray salah on time, not late. If you go to the mosque, Jum'ah, like, everything work out for you. And if you have, like, trust in Allah, everything work out for you, bro. Like, as soon as you, me, I'm not perfect, bro. I miss my salahs. I'm not a perfect human being, like,
perfect.
but you see the difference in life. Like, for anyone that hasn't seen the difference, like inshallah, may Allah guide them, but you see the difference in your life, bro. Like, when you pray on time, when you go to the mosque, like, that's why we're here on this earth, bro. That's our first thing, bro. That's first thing. Everything you do, if you do for the sake of Allah, like, straight up. Me, sometimes, like, I'm going somewhere, like, I'm going to the mosque. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Obviously, somewhere in the back of my mind, I'm going there for the sake of Allah to pray. But at the same time, I'm going there to meet one of the boys. But my priority isn't, I'm going there firstly for the sake of Allah. You get what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah.
So it's like, if you change your life, your ways in life, you put everything like first, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you do everything for the sake of Allah, man, your mindset will change. Everything be a breeze, man.
I think we mentioned.
See what I'm saying?
We mentioned it before on the podcast that the teachings of Islam and the Deen actually gives you those principles and stuff for life. You know, it's a life path. Like, for example, when you're talking about going to the mosque to see your friends, there's a reason why we go to the mosque and pray Jama'ah. There's a reason why you get more rewards when you pray in Jama'ah together. It's saying that society, being a part of a group, holding that connection in society is an important thing. So you are supposed to go and see your friends. Obviously, you have to pray your salah, get your salah out the way, but then afterwards, yes, go out with your friends. You know what I mean? Keep that connection in the community. Where some people go, oh, no, I don't want to go to the mosque, I just want to go hang out with my friends. And it's kind of like, because what are you thinking? Hang out with your friends is the mosque is opposite. Like you're not supposed to hang out with your friends. You're only supposed to go to the mosque. It's not. It's a guideline for how you're supposed to live your life. And if you stick to the deen, you realize everything becomes easier because you get those habits and those traits. You know what I'm saying?
So to try and sum up this whole episode, I think it's
I don't know how to say
this. It's so much, because we touched on everything. Shootings, we touched on sacrifice, we touched on life is short, we touched on not judging a book by its cover. Man,
mate, we travelled the world without travelling. You know what I'm saying? COVID-19, we go nowhere, mate.
We travelled the world without travelling. Yeah, that's the episode. That's the title. That's the title of the episode.
Straight up, brother.
I like that, man.
And this will happen every week if you ask me what's on your radar, because there's a lot going on these days.
I had a topic in mind, but subhanallah, we'll leave it for next week, inshallah. Because I just felt like what transpired, what actually happened the past week was so important, especially what happened to Chadwick Boseman, and the fact that it was because of his illness, and it was the fact that he reached a certain level that I felt like we need to extract a lesson from here. Like, there's so much that you can. The fact that keeping secrets to yourself sometimes is good, right? Or not so much to yourself, but to your close not revealing everything to everyone, so that they don't treat you a certain way, so that they don't look at you a certain way. Like, you got to learn to hold back and reveal to the most important people that are going to hold it for you as well. So and just not judging that person simply because you think the full story. And it could be your friend. You might think this guy, he tells me everything, or she tells me everything, but you don't know what they're genuinely going through. They could be having thoughts, or they could be diagnosed with something, and they just don't want to be judged by you as that person, as that friend. So we have certain days in our lives during the year where it's "Are you okay?" days, where we have to ask these questions, and sometimes we need to basically apply it in our lives more regularly. Don't wait for that day just to apply it. Like, ask your friends, kick back with them, check and analyze. If you interact with them on a regular basis, when somebody is acting differently or not. So establish that relationship. There's also
on that one,
there's just so much, so many lessons from it.
I heard someone say that your true friends will hear your silences louder than your non-silences, right? Because you can tell, like, being able to tell when someone's, because life will always hit you and you'll always have issues. So being able to figure out that he's acting a little bit different, he's not his normal self. Because a lot of times we go, he's not his normal self. They go, what's wrong with you? Because you can't expect that relationship to be that same old relationship. So it's more like, hey, cheer up, we're having dinner together, you're not normally like this, rather than, hey, what's wrong, like what are you going through, like why have you changed, what's coming about this. And just being someone that just be observant on your friends, like you said, just take a moment out, give a call, understand, someone hasn't spoke to me in a week or 2 weeks, I haven't heard from the person, you know.
I think for me, the number one lesson that I extracted from that, you know, that Chadwick Boseman death, it was the fact that he never allowed it to stop him from pursuing excellence. And I think that's what it is. As long as you're still breathing, as long as you still have the ability to continue on physically, mentally, or spiritually, keep going. There should no excuse. There is no excuse for you not to be able to progress. If you are still alive, that's still a reason for you to keep going, and that reason should always overpower all the excuses that you might come up with. But the
thing is, that's the difference between people's mind state. Some people will be in that position and go, this is a life-threatening illness, I'm gonna give up. Some will go, this is a life-threatening illness, I only have
that's what I mean. And I saw that, you know, the way it was applied in his life, I was like, yo man, that's crazy. That's some real, in 4 years of it, like not even just continuing for 1 year and then giving up. No, 4 consecutive years.
Wow, that's not easy to do, man.
Yeah.
That's the guy's a machine, man. I salute him for doing that, bro.
Anyways, man, any last words before we wrap up? Nope.
It's gonna go for another 10 minutes.
You know, for everyone out there that's like, you know, gone through trials and tribulations and COVID, and 2020 is a tough year. Just hold in there, live your life to the fullest, smile, take it easy, do what you want to do. Life is too short. Like I say, you either go hard or you stay home. You're supposed to stay home. COVID-19, stay home.
Just be happy. I'll just say, just generally try to be as happy as you can, and try to radiate that happiness to the people around you, because we are living in tough times. So
love it. No excuses.
Yeah.
All right. So that's us, man.
Till next week, I guess.
Till next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.